I am super excited today because today I've got an e-bike that I think is going to be a really good fit for a whole bunch of people. If you're a bigger person and you need to go far, e-bikes are really tough to find that can actually get you the distance. So the range on this is the EMA 3.0. Now you may remember I did review the EMA 2.0 and it's right here and it's amazing. It's got a 20 amp hour battery, and in fact what I'll probably be doing very soon in the future is doing a comparison between the two. But just so you know, EMA 3.0 has double the battery. Maybe it should be called EMA 4.0 because it's got twice as much battery as the 2.0. Anywho, what I'm going to do today is I'm going to cover off a bunch of things. I'm going to talk about the ride. I'm going to talk about who it's for, who it's not for. I'm going to talk about how comfortable it is going over these bumps, but also how epic it is just to sit back and ride and just have no question about range. I have absolutely no range anxiety when you've got 40 amp hours. The motor at the back, 1500 watt, which is terrific. And it's super comfortable. This seat, 18 inches, gets my big butt on there, no problems whatsoever. So anywho, without any further ado, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ride around here. I've got Eric behind the camera here. He's going to grab some B-roll. We're going to fly around Victoria into Oak Bay, maybe go downtown. We are going to do the Hill of Death. We're going to do a little bit of off-roading. And then after that, I'm going to share you what I like and what I don't like about the EMA 3.0. Alrighty, next up is a speed test. Now remember, it's got lots of power, but it does have it is limited. So let's go find out how fast it actually goes. Speed level 5. So it's limited to 20 miles an hour, which is what, 32 kilometers an hour? But you can feel that if you wanted to go a lot faster, you could absolutely do that. Now that's probably because where I live, the regulations say that's as fast as we want you to be able to go. And that's fine, it works for me. But if you buy it, you'll be able to unlock it and go quite a bit faster. It feels like you could probably go around, I'm gonna guess around 35 miles an hour, which is around 56 kilometers an hour. And that's actually what it says on the website. I totally agree with that.
This is Future Tim here. The next day, I actually had some time and unlocked EMA 3.0 and took it for a speed test, and sure enough, I hit 35 miles an hour. That's about 56 kilometers an hour, and it is plenty fast and really, really stable.
Next up, what we're going to do is I'm going to invite Eric to stand in the middle of the road. I'm going to do a brake test, and if I don't run him over, we know the brakes work. What could go wrong? And wow. Wow, that's really impressive because I'm a big guy.
It was super windy, but what I'm talking about here is the whole bike weighs about 110 pounds.
Plus the box and all the stuff we've got in here, I'm gonna guess about 125 pounds. I weigh 265, so if my math's right, 190 pounds worth of stuff here, and it came to a grinding halt, no problem whatsoever. And that's because of the brakes. It's got 4 piston calipers resting on 180 millimeter rotors, and yeah, it's got some serious stopping power. Really means I feel so much more confident and comfortable. It's like, oh, I wasn't sure how good it was going to be at braking. Well, no reason to worry at all. Love it. The shocks are phenomenal. At the back, we've got adjustable nitrogen-filled shocks. I'm gonna put more details up on the screen, but just wow, super comfortable. That coupled with the suspension forks double at the front, it kind of feels like riding around on a moped. It doesn't feel like an e-bike. It feels like you're just chilling and relaxing on a moped on a summer's afternoon. I mean, I think this is going to be ideal. And in fact, that's what I wanted to speak to. Who's this really going to be for? Yeah, sure, it's going to be really good for big guys. We don't have to worry about range. But if you're doing DoorDash, if you're doing Uber Eats and that kind of thing, and you need to put a few things in the back, you know, food, deliveries, that kind of stuff, and you want to ride for hours in the day, this is going to be pretty awesome because you'll be able to just relax back here. If you want to pedal, you can. And if you don't have to worry about it. So let's take a look at the actual display next. This display is absolutely beautiful. I'm going to invite Eric Wright to come up real nice and close and I'll show you. You can see on here, I've got lots of things. It's showing that I've got my headlights on. Of course, it's got speed indicated. Right now I'm in miles per hour. My pass level, I've been riding out number 5. I've been riding around here for 5 miles already, which is 8 kilometers, and the battery's still at 100%. Again, speaking to how massive the battery is. On the left-hand side, on the handlebar over here, I've got a light switch. I can adjust plus and minus on the pass. I've got the indicators, which are terrific, and a horn, which is kind of, it works. On the right-hand side, I've just got the actual half throttle for the throttle. Obviously a half throttle, what would we call this?
It's half throttle.
Yeah, we'll just call it half throttle. Even Eric agrees, call it half throttle. Long story short, so the half throttle, and it's really comfortable. I do like this because it's so easy just to dial it in. And then of course, after a while, if you've been going along at a certain speed, after about 5 seconds, cruise control kicks in. So you're really relaxed. There's no extra tension in your hands, no tension in your shoulders. You're literally just chilling, relaxing, and riding around like a moped. So that, as I said, the other thing I want to talk about were the brakes. The brakes, I know I mentioned it earlier when I was doing that brake test, but the brakes are pretty awesome. They're hydraulic, 4 pistons down here, crushing that 180 millimeter disc, so the calipers are strong, and it's all hydraulic. It just feels so smooth. So, you know what? I think Emma's really knocked it out of the park here. There are a couple of things I don't like, but I'm gonna come up a little bit later on and talk to you about that. So if you're really interested in getting one of the Emmas, Emma 3.0 gives you a bunch of options. Like, it comes standard with this beautiful 18-inch seat, which it's really comfortable. And if you're a bit taller, you can lean a little bit further back. If you're a little shorter, you come a little bit more forwards, but it's super comfortable. But it also comes with this awesome little case at the back. Now this case is 36 liters. I don't really know what that means, but it's a pretty big box is what it is. And what it means is, when I open it up, I've got space for stuff. I've got a couple of pockets up top here. Inside, there's a removable, if you would like it to be removable, and it can be Velcroed in. I've left it removable just to make my life a little simpler. So if I went and grabbed some shopping, I would probably just put the shopping bag inside and not do it. Lots of room, and it's lockable. The box itself, of course, has a set of keys, and each battery, because there are 2. The other second battery is right underneath here. And again, it's got a key that you can unlock it and lock it down. So if you wanted to go inside with it, you can do that as well. They're blown away by the wind. One of the things I really appreciate with the Emma 3.0 is the attention to detail with regards to safety. So we've already checked out the brakes. They're amazing, but check out the lights. We've got indicators front and rear. We've got a light up here, which is 2,000 lumens, so bright. And you can see right now as I'm riding around at night how incredibly bright that front headlight is and how beautiful the brake lights are, the indicators are, everything just sticks right out. And when you're riding around at nighttime, you absolutely want to be seen. And these lights make sure or ensure that happens. Next up, the Hill of Death. I have a sneaking suspicion it might make it, but let's go find out. So the Hill of Death was an epic fail.
So yes, the Hill of Death was an epic fail because I realized I had the motor and power limited. Out of the box, the speed was limited to 20 miles an hour, as I mentioned earlier, but also the power was limited to 750 watts, which I didn't realize. I decided to unlock the full power of the Emma 3.0 and tested the Hill of Death a little bit later in the video.
All right, so one of the things I am really delighted with, as I said before, is the battery size, but it's coupled with a 52 volt system. So what I mean by that is it's 40 amp hours of battery with a 52 volt system controlling it. Just oodles and oodles of range. They're advertising 75 miles of range just on throttle only, no pedaling. And if you pedal, they're saying 150 miles of range. Like, that's extraordinary. And to that end, I think what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to take it for a bit of a spin. I'm going to take it for a long spin. I've got to referee in the next city over. I've got to go pick up my meat from the butchers, which is in another city further up the island. So I'm going to not charge it up after all the reviewing today and just see what happens. And that's going to come up now.
I live in beautiful Victoria, BC. And I had a game at the Starlight Stadium in Langford to referee. That's approximately 30 miles. So what's that, about 50 kilometers, 48 kilometers thereabouts. I learned a whole bunch of things about EMMA 3.0 in my travels. For example, the ride was super comfortable as it had been the previous day, but turning on the cruise control made riding on the trails a whole lot less fatiguing. The extra power of the 1500 watt motor was noticeable, of course, after I had adjusted the P settings and lifted the speed and power restrictions. However, I actually just kept the speed to 20 miles an hour. I didn't pedal once on the trip.
Alrighty, well, the Road EMMA 3.0 has done extremely well. I'm going to show you the numbers here.
It was nice to see that when I arrived, I had plenty of battery left over. And so after refereeing, I took a detour down by the ocean and took in some of the scenery before heading back to the city. Gravel, or in some case dirt trails, I found EMMA to be very comfortable. The display is super clear, and each time the cruise control kicked in, an icon was displayed on the display to let me know. I also ran it up the hill of death, and it flew up without any issue, but sadly the battery died on my camera, so I didn't film it. One of the things I'd forgotten to mention are the batteries are completely removable. I know I mentioned that there were keys, but of course that means that you could actually slide out each battery individually, and if I was charging them, of course you actually do still have to charge them individually, which is a bit of a pain, but apparently there's software coming up, and that software might just be able to be so that when you plug in the charger, you can charge both batteries at the same time, but we'll see if that happens in the near future. But for now, yes, for safety consideration, you can unplug the batteries, slide them out, and keep them stored, and or maybe just keep them out of cold weather, that sort of thing. That's a big deal where I live, so yeah, that was pretty handy.
Well, we've landed ourselves at the end of riding around today in this beautiful field of camas. This camas comes up every year and it's absolutely stunning, and I think it's fitting because so is EMMA 3.0. It's absolutely stunning. The brakes are terrific, hydraulic, 4 pistons. You can slow yourself down really fast like I did in that test. Plenty of power. The battery, 40 amp hours, is absolutely massive. And it's extraordinary to me that you can get all that put together in a package. It's so comfortable. The seat is comfortable. And if you want a bigger seat, let's say for example, you want to ride around with 2 people on your e-bike, you can actually upgrade the seat from the 18-inch up to the 24 and not have the case on the back. You can have a longer rack. You can design it the way that you want it. I love the fact that we have that throttle, that half throttle. It gives it plenty of power, and it's just so easy to manage and deliver that power. I gotta say, the sensor, that torque sensor, it delivers the power so smoothly. I don't think I've actually tried one of those before, because just a little bit of pedaling, it just started to pick up that little bit of power. And if I put in more effort, it was so balanced. It was lovely. SGS batteries. So that means is they're certified, which means you don't have to worry about them catching on fire. The controller, the batteries, they're all tested and they're all safe. So especially if you happen to live in a city or a town or a municipality that is really focused on ensuring that the batteries are all safe, they're SGS certified. It's lovely. The tires themselves are wonderful. You know what? 2 huge thumbs up from this big guy. 100% big guy approved.
Big guy approved. 43.5 miles covered. We ended up with 50.8 volts at 68% battery life. And top speed at 35 miles an hour. Special thank you to Eric. He was amazing helping me film. Riding around one-handed with a GoPro. That was pretty awesome. And thanks to Michael for my awesome socks.